Hi. Yo, I know a lot of you are still nuts, but hi. Good morning. Good morning, people over in that time zone. The people who are in the morning time zone. Yep. Morning time zone. Sleep. Oh no. Sleepy Callie. Oh no. That's not good. Callie's sleepy. How you guys doing? I was not feeling super good. For several days now. Still not great, if we're being honest. Still not feeling great. But I don't know. I don't know what it is. I know what's causing it. Some of it is just like, if I'm not like feeling like stomach flu kind of sick, I am feeling congested and, you know, icky like that. Or I'm in a lot of pain. I think it's several things all coming together at once. And I'm just like, I'm one body. I can't be handling this. Anyway, meant check everybody. Worry about that later. Let's see. What did I do this weekend? Because I didn't stream. I just, like, Saturday, I got up and I was like, yeah, this isn't happening. So, no stream on Saturday. Sorry about that. Instead, I kind of took a really good nap on my couch. Which my husband always is, like, annoyed when I take a nap on the couch. Ooh, 20 streams. Eek. Wow. Yeah, no, naps are good, but he's like, go to bed. We have a bed. And I'm just like, yeah, but if I go to bed, my nap is gonna be like 5 hours long instead of an hour. If I'm mildly uncomfortable because the couch isn't the most comfortable vessel to sleep on. Yes, horse books, welcome. Ooh, let's do that. I don't remember how many days it's been, so it'll be surprising for me as well. Let's see if StreamerBot is working. It takes it a minute to calculate the days. So give her a second. She's working on it. Okay, yeah. 1,217 days. That seems right. I think. That's how many days I've been reading in a row. And I'm pretty much, for this, at least this year, have almost primarily read horror. There's like one romance book in there. There's one like horror adjacent romance book in there too. And I think like maybe there was a romantasy that I think has some horror elements in it though. And just some other like at least the fantasy is a little dark if I've read fantasy. Ooh, thank you for the follow, B Ford 26. I appreciate it. How are you doing today? How's everybody? Also, welcome in Binks. Okay, so my boyfriend sent me some money for my birthday. And he was like, I really want you to spend some of that money on yourself. Like, yes, buy some food with it, but like you should spend some on for something nice for yourself because you like nice things and You haven't been able to have a nice thing for a while. Oh, okay. I exist, model cute, plus whore, plus books. I follow. Okay. Equals follows. That is math. That math is mathing. But anyway, I got the birthday present from my boyfriend, and he was like, make sure you spend some on yourself. And so I wanted to buy myself some games from Steam. However, he sent me money in USD, which sits in my PayPal, which is USD, and I can't use a USD payment method in PayPal because I live in France. I can't out. Oh, I also have a husband if that works out for you any. I have a boyfriend and a husband and a they friend and another they friend and I'm poly. um yeah, I live in France so it's hard. So I messaged Glitch because Glitch is my bestie, my IRL bestie, and I'm like, hey, can you send me a gift card in Steam and I'll send you the money? And I think it was so funny because I got a message that was like, yes, that can happen. However, I need you to tell me something that only Callie would know, just to make sure you weren't hacked and something scammy is going on because you never ask for money. And I'm like, sure thing. Sure thing, Glitch. I pull out some juicy stuff from our childhood that is ridiculous. It made me laugh though. I can't tell you what it was because like now that's gonna be our thing to make sure that we're really who we say we are. But it was fucking stupid. We were stupid teenagers. Yep. Open up that memory vault. Oh man. Yeah, no, I type in a particular way. We know each other well enough that we can tell each other from our typing. But yeah. True. It could have been AI too. AI scrubbed my account and learned how to be me. But it wouldn't know. It wouldn't know about weird shit we did as teenagers with candles. Nope. That sounds like something that it's not. I regret what I said. You know, teenagers play with fire. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Not play with fire? Fuck no. Anyway, let's see. We're gonna do books. We're gonna do books. No, it didn't sound right. I regret adding the candles in. The candles make it sound like it was like romantic or something. It was not. It was teenagers playing with fire. Ah, motherfucker. Forgot to take down the. I'm good. Hold on. Let's just. This is fine. This'll be fine. It's still birthday. It's not birthday anymore. It's December. Although a lot of times I'll have my birthday party in December. Can I want the cover collage. Thank you. Cover collage. Look at all these books. Look at all these books while I take down my birthday decorations. I don't want to have these up the whole time. Hold on. I'll just keep pressing the delete button and get rid of them one by one. Should I have put all of these in a folder so I could just delete the folder? Yeah. Yeah. I even thought that as I was putting them up, and I was like, nah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Nobody needs to worry about that. I don't have to. It'll be fine. I'll remember to get rid of them. It'll be okay. The white cupcake. Where are you, cupcake? You're somewhere else. Yeah. Bye, cupcake. We love you. Okay. Alright, that's better. No more, birthday. Only, holiday outfit because I, think it's cute. I don't want to take it off. Anyway, yeah, I did 10 books, this month again. So we have 10 of them to go through. Which means we should probably get started because you know how I yap about my books. But here they are, sneak peek. And we start off with House of Monstrous Woman by Daphne Fema. This one, I was talking about it a little bit before, but I decided to keep it. I decided to keep it for this month because, Jinx had gone to bed. Because this one is a sort of historical. I mean, it was in the 80s. It was 1986 Philippines, and it was weird. This one was a weird one. It reminded me of a book or not a book. It reminded me of a film I saw a trailer for, but didn't watch the actual movie. But yeah, a young woman is drawn into a dangerous game after being invited to a maze-like home of her childhood friend, a rumored witch, in this gothic horror set in 1986 Philippines. So, 1986 Philippines, if you do not know, there was a bit of political unrest at the time. I don't fully remember everything that was going on, but there was a there's civil unrest, and there was kind of like a coup going on, but like a coup of the people. The people were trying to take over the government, a revolution, if you will, but they called it a coup at the time. But they were trying to oust the people in power who were doing bad things, which I don't really know the full context of, because we don't learn that much about these things. But it kind of like recognized that like it was politically unsettled there, and there was a lot of rebellion and protest, and things were getting violent during this time. And that's what this book is actually sort of trying to do, is like talk about part of it was US imperialism, yeah, and the military bases and economic unrest. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on with it. But the book was sort of trying to parallel what was happening in Josephine, the main character's life and her family, with how she was going through this maze game thing and the political environment of the time. And it was really interesting. Yeah, shit ton of corruption. It was a problem. So Josephine del Rosario feels like a pariah in her town. Long ago orphaned after her father's political campaign ended in tragedy, she is all alone taking care of the family home, while her older brother is off in Manila where a revolution brews, and it's starting to feel like he's abandoning her. So, saying that it ended in tragedy is kind of, well, I mean, he died. So yeah, but it was because the people who were in power didn't want him to get into didn't want him to get elected, and so they killed him. There's something with a fire. I can't remember, but her mother and him both died. And so it made it so that she was left with the house and trying to upkeep the house, and then also try to avoid the advances from the men in her town who were more politically, like the ones who are in power, the corrupt people who are in power. There's like sons involved with this, and they keep like trying to like get her to like give up the house, and she's like standing strong, or like get her to marry somebody and she refuses because she doesn't want to, because I'm sure you guys didn't see this one coming at all. She's a lesbian. Hooray, lesbians. Because I can't read a book without them, you know? I don't mean to. I didn't realize it was going to be LGBTQ when I picked it. I was just like, ooh, I love monstrous women. Oh. Okay. I picked it for gay reasons, but I didn't know it was going to be gay, you know? um. Oh yeah. Anyway, so her family is dead. Dead. It's like second sight or something. When she receives a letter from her cherished childhood friend, um, God, Hiraya, Hiraya. That sounds better. Hiraya inviting her to play a game. She jumps at the reason for leaving town. Josephine will have whatever her heart desires if she wins. Maybe she can change her life. It doesn't matter that dark rumors have always surrounded Yara. Um, yeah, cherished childhood friend is true, but also she's in love with her. Full on in love with her. Except Tiara's house is strange, labyrinthine, and huge, and something seems to be following Josephine everywhere she turns. What's worse is there's something that her old friend isn't telling her. There's something insidious about the invitation, and if Josephine isn't careful, she'll find that change is sometimes brought with blood. So yeah, we got secret lesbian. That then becomes not so secret, and then like also unrequited love that becomes requited. And then the thing that was going on with this, it was like the game is kind of a strange game of hide and seek, and then like they draw lots basically, and they find out who are the hunters or seekers, and then who are the hiders. And if you're able to make it till dawn, then you win basically a witch blessing, and you can get whatever you want in your life. There were 4 people who would play in it, and so 2 would be seekers and 2 would be hiders. And the thing is that if the seekers find you, they kill you. And the people playing was Josephine, her brother, her brother's girlfriend or fiance or wife. I was unclear about that. I think maybe wife, because I think she might have been pregnant. And then Yara, who has to win it in order to gain the inheritance, which is the house, and then like all of the duties that come with owning that the crazy weird house. And like the place that it's on is like the land that it's on is weird, and gross, and the servants in the house is are the servants in the house are creepy as fuck, and they like wear these veils, and then like Kiara has a sister, and she's just acting like, yeah, she's around. She's just not, she's just, not super doing well, so she doesn't stick around. And Josephine is seeing her, and then later finds out she's fucking dead. She's dead, dead, dead. And she was burned. She was burned in one of the houses because she burned herself alive because she didn't want to. She was supposed to take on the inheritance of the house, and she was like, "Fuck that! I think I'll burn myself alive instead." So like, and then there's something about bugs, and there's bugs everywhere, and the bugs apparently have telepathic communication that the the inheritor of the house is able to like listen to them, so it's sort of like a survey, like they bugged the house for real with like ants. This has Fall of the House of Usher feels in it, mostly because it's a gothic um house one. And we have the dead uh woman who also BTW, not dead, just nailed to something. Body still there though, kind of dead, confusing, I don't know. Hello Biru. This book was fucking crazy is what I'm getting at. Also fun and enjoyable and like really interesting because there's like this whole there's a little bit of like food stuff going on in there too, and that Josephine can't eat meat anymore cuz her family was kind of barbecued, and so she can't like get that out of her head. um and they're like trying to make her eat this meat and eat like other things, because if you eat the meat and stuff it like infects you with something, and then bugs grow inside of you, and I don't really understand. And then you become kind of like a zombie guy, and then that's what happened to all the servants. There's a lot going on in this. It's so hard to explain too. Like the description is just like, yeah, you gotta go do this thing, and maybe it'll end in blood. And it's like, no, there's so much more. There's so much more crazy in it. Um, I liked it. That's for sure. I wonder what 388. It's not bad. It's not a bad overall rating. I think that it's because there was a lot of things going on in it, and I feel like there was almost too much because we House of Monstrous Women by Daphne Fama is the book. But there was a lot of stuff going on with it, to the point that I feel like there might have been too much. And that's one of the things that I've been struggling with a lot of books recently, where it feels like they tried to cram too much into it for what it ended up being. I'm trying to decide if I really think that about this though. Let me see. How many? 368 pages. I think because everything was a parallel of one another. So we have the house and the maze, like, and the confusion and the death and the game, all of that going on, and that there's corruption within this and everything, and that is being mirrored by the political unrest and the things that happened to her family and the things that happened in the Philippines. It's interesting it's based in the Philippines. I assume the writer is also Filipino. Yes, she is. Um, I believe she's American Filipino. But yeah, her family definitely is from the Philippines and she spent time there. But I might be wrong on that, so don't quote me. But I think that her family is American Filipino. I tried to look it up. This was back when I read it, which was like the end of October, the beginning of November. But yeah, I feel like there was a lot, but because it was a mirror of one another, it sort of worked in a way that where my complaint is that there's too much happening in it in other books, which we'll see later on. There's another book that I was like, too much going on in this book, for the amount of pages that it is. But I feel like it works. And I didn't feel overwhelmed or like I couldn't follow the story. Or I never felt lost when reading it. So I think that this one was okay. Like, as far as that goes. And I did enjoy it. I did find it interesting. It was also like really cool because like they talked about the witchcraft and the paranormal stuff um that is cultural to the Philippines, and they use some like the cultural uh vocabulary for it. So they didn't say witch, they said something else, but I can't remember what it is. And they didn't talk about like ghosts. There was like some other entity that uh is Filipino, but I don't know what they are because I don't remember, and I don't have access to the book anymore because it was a library book. I was hoping somebody might say some of this stuff, but I thought that was really cool. And these are good. Definitely slow at the beginning, but if you stick with it, it turns into a way crazy horror book. I would agree with that. 3 stream streak. Hooray. It's because I didn't stream on Saturday this time. But yeah, no, I think that we're gonna go ahead and rate it. Let's go ahead and rate it. I want to rate it. Let Kelly rate it. Oh, wait. What are you doing? Oh. Kelly wants to rate it. Okay. It was adventurous and dark. And sure, a little mysterious. Why not? Tense. I would say it's more of a medium-paced book. A mix of plot and character. Well, she becomes more of a lesbian. That's nice. So that's good. I'm gonna go if it's complicated. Hello, Robozoto. How are you? Are the characters lovable? I cried at the end, so sure. Was I just in the mood for crying? Perhaps. Who knows? Are they diverse? Sure. They are all Filipino, but there's lesbians, so are the flaws of the main character a main focus of the book? I'm gonna say it's complicated because it's kind of yes, but also no. And then for rating, reminder that if it's a 4.0 or above, that means that I really, really liked it and I want to own it. A 3 is that I liked it and it was fine and I had fun. And if I hated it, it's gonna go to a 2. Oh, hello, Digital Mango. Ooh, Mango, thank you for the follow. And I'm doing good, Robo, thank you. What do I feel about this book? I'm like on the I feel like a 4. I feel like a 4 is fair. I'm almost like a 4.5. I know, right? What the hell? I'm almost at a 4.5, but I don't know. I don't want to. Thinking back on it, I'm like, it is kind of. It is a full book. It's a full book that I think works out okay, but she's stuffed to her gills. But then there's lesbians, and you know how I feel about lesbians. Oh, thank you for the follow, Robo. Okay, we give it a 4.5. Alright, what do we want to say about this book? This book that the book we're reviewing right now, for those of you who just came in, is true. It is a wild statement out of context. Most of the books I read tend to have gay people in it, and I don't know how it happens, but I'm here for it. I'm great. I love it. But yeah, the book that we're reviewing is House of Monstrous Women by Daphne Fama. If you have ever read that book, you know, give me your thoughts on it as well. It's good. It was a good book. Okay. What does Kelly want to say about this? This is the first book. It gets easier from here. Okay. Alright. I enjoyed the oh boy. Oh boy. No. I was gonna be like, I'm not gonna spell this, right? Oh, that was close though. I always mix up where the L's go. You know what I mean? I get the right number of L's, but I don't put them in the right places. I enjoyed the parallels between Daphne's life and the political unrest in Philippines at the time. Did I really spell Philip? Yep, I forgot that. Okay, we're good. It was nice to be exposed to that history and the culture. Hi, Ro. Welcome. Thank you for the head pats. What else do we say about this? I hate that I'm bad at this. I hate that I'm bad at this and there's new people in here. And other times I've done this, I've been way better at it. It's nice to be exposed to the history and the culture. And it turned into a engaging and spooky horror book towards end. Also, lesbians. Art. Yay! 4.5, 4.5. Next book. Less fun. Because it's Joe Hill. Oh no. Oh no, Joe Hill. The son of my, not nemesis. Ooh boy. Okay. I get in trouble because every time I talk up, you did hear lesbians. The last book had lesbians, and I was not expecting it, but was pleasantly surprised. Hooray, lesbians! You know, it keeps happening to me. It's a running theme every month. I go, is there someone gay in this book? If not, why am I reading it? And that's how I felt about this book. Oh my god. Okay, So Joe Hill is the son of Stephen King. Apple tree, not a long distance, it turns out. Um, However, I didn't feel like when I read this that I was like, okay, I'm reading a book that is made for, middle-aged white men in Iowa who really like working on cars. Um, yeah, but also kind of did. I don't know. What did I think about this one? I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. I feel like every time I make criticisms towards Stephen King and now Joe Hill. This is the first Joe Hill I've ever read, except for I did read a little bit of Lock and Key. I think I read the first one, and it was good, and I liked it. Um, okay, let me give you. I'll give you things that I like about Joe Hill right now. I think that he does a lot of really interesting stuff within the realm of fantasy. So it's horror, but it's also fantasy. It's not necessarily a dark fantasy, sort of sci-fi, but like way heavier on the fantasy side. Um, gives sort of like the fantasy that gives like Stranger Things vibes. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, this could almost go into, and Stranger Things goes way further into the sci-fi part of things. But like if you just think of the fantasy elements of Stranger Things, I think that Joe Hill kind of has a similar vibe to the way that he does fantasy. And I really appreciate the fantasy that he does. And I also think that King does that very well. So again, apple tree, not a far distance. Um I don't want to get too far into this because I want to do a deeper dive on this one when later on in the month we'll do. I read a couple of books there last month. They're in a row right now, so we're gonna look at them both, all three of them now. So this is a little preview, but I read Christmas horror stuff in anticipation of a Christmas horror book talk. Not to be confused with book talk, which is book related things on TikTok. This is a book talk, like TALK, where we talk about books on Twitch, to be clear. So I don't want to get too far into this one. But I did like it, surprisingly. I have issues. So critiques now, I think, are fair to make. The critiques that I have for this book are similar to critiques that I have for other very popular horror authors. Um, Sometimes the characters can be a little bit icky for me. Some of the characters can kind of be a little bit of an ick to me. Um, and this one has a character named Bing, who is a um intellectually disabled man, and just the way that they characterize him makes me feel uncomfortable as a disability advocate. It's not the worst I've seen, but I don't know, man. I just it's similar to the way that like whenever you see intellectually disabled people being depicted in media, they tend to be like bad or yeah, not the worst I've seen is an awfully low bar though. Um So he is a bad guy, but he is being manipulated, and he's also just kind of icky and gross and murdered his parents. And I just feel like that makes it seem a lot of intellectual disabled people are portrayed in this way. The Good Doctor is a good example, yeah. But he's not like icky and gross. He's just like, oh, a genius. But didn't he just have autism? When I'm like thinking of like, I don't know. I, I don't like the concept of. It makes me think of like when people who had mental illnesses such as schizophrenia, how they were always portrayed as like serial killers. And it's like, okay, well, yes, a lot of people with mental health problems overlap with murderous types, but that's just like, do we always have to do that? And that's how this felt to me, and I didn't like that so much. I don't like the icky bits, and the way that he was portrayed made me really uncomfortable. And some of the things, like he was sexually assaulting the mothers of the children that they were kidnapping, and would say things like big big mommy milkers, and I'm just like, I don't want to read this. Nobody wants to read that. If I get started on autism media, I won't get anything done today. Yeah, no, I agree with this. It's not a good representation of the condition either. It's defining characteristic or somehow a superpower. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Autism in media has never really hit the stride. Oh, I thought of another one that made me really upset. But like this one, he's not autistic. He has an intellectual disability, which is different from autism, which is, I wouldn't say, an intellectual disability. Um it's not named either. We don't know what it is. But I didn't I just as a disability advocate, I didn't appreciate the way that Bing was portrayed. But otherwise, Stephen King did a mentally challenged character in the book Blaze. I haven't read that one. Otherwise, for this book though, I did enjoy a lot of it. I like the characterization of the main character, who we see kind of grow up in this. Um, and then I loved the relationship between herself and what she perceives as just a mental illness, which is actually that she's been really fucked by this guy, by this evil man for a very long time. Not Big, but the guy who's controlling him. I forgot what that guy's name is, but um, and she's been fucked over by whatever the fantasy thing is, and she just perceives it as mental illness. But then she also has a child, and so there's this relationship between herself and her son, and I really liked the way that Hill described and explored a more difficult relationship between a mother and child, where they both very much still love each other. Like, she's not abusive towards him. She doesn't like give no fucks about him or anything like that. But she's struggling with her mental illness, feels like that if she kept distance away from him, it would be better for him. Um Endlessly loves him with all bits of her body and soul. And then he also likewise loves his mother, thinks that she's kind of a superwoman, and uh just wants to spend time with her. But then also understands that she feels unwell. So I really like that. If we can get past the Bing thing, then I think that that's pretty good. It was actually a really good sized book for what goes on in it. 704 pages it says on this one. And yeah, I thought it was kind of cool. And there's Christmas adjacent imagery. The Christmasness of it is really like supposed to be something that describes childhood innocence and the tainting of that, which is not done through assault or anything like that. So you don't have to worry about that. It doesn't go into childhood assault if I'm making myself clear here. The kids are kidnapped and brought to Christmas Town, and they are changed into weird little monster children is all. Yeah, that's it. That's all. They just get turned into weird little monster children. It's fine. Yeah. But it's not, it doesn't like, yes, there is sexual assault in this, but nothing happens to a child. The children aren't even like hurt, really, other than being kidnapped from their families and being turned into little monster children. They think it's a fun time. They get kind of like brainwashed into. No, I know what you're saying. You know that's my least favorite thing. They Pinocchio it. Yeah. A weird little hook mouth. You didn't see the evil monster children with the hooks for teeth? Who attack the main character? The one? When she goes to the house and she tries to they burn it down and she gets stuck in the laundry chute? Oh, you didn't see it? I thought you said you meant you read this. Okay. I was confused. But yeah, no, this is pretty good. We'll go into it a little bit more deeply when we talk about it in the Christmas horror book talk. I'm gonna go ahead and do the review now instead of like looking at it all. No, it's okay. I might have misunderstood or misread. Bitches be on drugs again. This one's adventurous, dark, sort of emotional, but I'm not gonna put it. It's not really funny. Tense. Medium paced, which is mostly where I like to go. A mix of plot and character driven things. There is development. I did find them lovable. The characters were like the good people characters. Oh, the dad. I forgot his name. I'll have to like brush myself up on this one. But he was so dumb and you just want to pat his dumb little head. He had such puppy energy. Would you say the cast of characters is diverse? No? If you have to think about it that hard, it probably isn't. The flaws of the main characters, a main focus of the book. Yes. What would I give this book? Do I want to own it? Not really. So it automatically goes to a 3. But it's a high 3. It's a high, like a 3.75. I feel like if it didn't have, if Bing was just fucked up, like a fucked up person, was just evil, I wouldn't have had such a problem with it. Yeah, we love a good himbo or himbo adjacent guy. Also, it might go up to like a 4 if I didn't have Bing in it. It would not go any higher than that because nobody's gay. What am I supposed to do with that? Let's go ahead. I enjoy this. um had some issues with the characterization of intellectual disabilities in Bing, but looking past that, the book was enjoyable and interesting. Great. I liked the complicated mother-child relationship and how that developed over the yay 0 out of 10, not gay enough, unfortunately. This is not one I would have picked up on my own. I picked it up because it has Christmas stuff in it, which is true for the next one too. Krampus the Yule Lord by Brom. I've not read a Brom book before. I've seen some stuff though. If we pull that up, can't remember. Oh, Slewfoot was the one that I'm like, oh, I kind of want to read that one, but I haven't actually picked it up. But after reading this one, I might. I don't know. I kind of liked it. Does one have anybody gay in it? I mean, Krampus might be gay. An artist. I think that is. Yeah, I keep getting recommended. Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure that is the same person. I'm pretty sure that they are also an artist. But I'm not entirely sure. So. He did metal. You mean, wait, what? He did metal. That could mean a lot of things for me. Oh, my dog is sleeping next to me. My model. Yeah, the cover is really good, and he might have done the cover. I'm trying to see about ads, but then again, most of you who are here, or at least who are talking currently, are subscribed, so I feel like I could probably just keep going. But yeah, he is an artist. Let me see if I can think of if anybody's gay. I don't think so. A guy who sneaks around at night and kidnaps back kids. There's a wardrobe change away from a Catholic priest. Of course he's gay. No, he doesn't kidnap the kids. He just puts them in a sack and them. That's different. Uh, uh, now we're in ads, so I'm like trying to chill before I say too much. Guys, it doesn't matter. Okay, so Krampus in this one. Krampus in this one is imprisoned, and he has the Belschnickel, kind of, but Krampus is kind of a vampire, sort of. He's a god from the line of Loki, and Santa has imprisoned him, but Santa is actually Balder impersonating Saint Nicholas. And it's kind of gotten to his head. um yeah, I love it too. I love it too. But Krampus escapes through the help of his Belschnickel, but his Belschnickel are people whom he has sort of vampire, like the vampire aspects of Krampus. He turned them so they were freshly dead, and he turned them, and by giving them their undead second life, he uh he basically enslaves them, so they have to yeah, Balder, he's got gates. I forgot. He's I'm gonna speak out of my ass, and I'm about to. Balder is Norse god of right, yeah, but yeah, okay, so son of Odin and Frigg. That's what I thought. Brother the Floor and Hodor, known for his innocence, goodness, and beauty. Son of Odin. Yeah. I just didn't I was like, pretty sure he's son of Odin. Didn't want to say that out to the without being correct though, so Balder was the beloved god that his death is to start Ragnarok. Yes. Which we kind of do. But he dies several times. He got killed by the mistletoe, which is why he's also Santa Claus in this. It's really interesting. He also bans mistletoe. And but like Krampus is descendant from Loki in this. And it is I don't know. It was really cool. I don't want to get too far into it, but there's like a lot of mythology things going on. The guy, Brom, took a lot of things from a lot of different legends about Krampus, and sort of mismatch, just sort of smushed them together. And there's like a whole entire like explanation of his process at the end, and it was really cool. But um, Krampus escapes his prison and is starting to hunt down Santa Claus to kill him. Um, and to bring back Yuletide festivities and get rid of all this Christmas bullshit, as he seems to feel. And at the same time, there is a uh young man who is at his wit's end and is about ready. Oh boy. Who is about ready to end it all. It's in West Virginia, just Appalachian town where things are not going well economically, and there's this police force, and they are not good people, and there's a lot of corruption and drug stuff happening, and he got all mixed up in it against his will, basically. But if he stops it, then the police will get him because the police are involved in it. And now his wife has is estranged from him, and has moved in with the police chief guy, and he's also not a good man, and it bad things are up on the horizon. and it's Christmas Eve, and this guy is about ready to shoot himself in the face, and he's drunk outside of his spooky trailer when all of a sudden he sees Santa and Santa's sleigh and the Belschnickel are trying to attack him. Um and he watches some of them die. And the audiobook is also very good. And he gets mixed up with it, and they like work together, and it's a really, I loved this and I cried like a baby. um so yeah, that's enough for this. We'll talk about it more in depth. We'll talk about it more in depth later. Adventurous, sort of funny sometimes. We won't do that. He's emotional and tense and good. Probably a more medium paced book again. Mix of plot and character. There is a lot of character development. I love the characters. Diverse? Are they diverse? No. The people of color are the Belschnickel, and that's just because they're given turns. Well, if you know the stuff, you know the stuff, but not like. Also, well, there were Indians, like Native Americans. Flaws of the book, yeah, sure. And then we give it a 5 without question. What do we think about this one? I loved the mix of mythology that Brom utilized for this story. The characters grew on me, and while not perfect, were engaging and wonderful all the same. And it was so good, it made me want to celebrate Yuletide. Nobody's gay. I don't think anybody's gay. And I don't remember. But there might have. No, there's gay. There's gay. I remember the gay now. There's gay. Alright. There's a side character who's gay. Who is one of those like big macho guys and is like, I'm the most straight. And they're like, sure, Paul. And that's not what his name was. Yeah. Whatever you say, Greg. I remember there was gay now. I know. There's gay. I remember the gay now. The side character, but it was so good. I don't know. Krampus might be gay. Krampus is asexual. Okay. Anyway, happy Yuletide. So this is the last of the Christmas books I read. This is an anthology of Christmas short stories written by a lot of very popular horror writers. So you have Stephen Graham Jones, ooh, Alma Katsu, ooh, Josh Malerman, oh, and then I don't know the other ones who are on there, but there's a couple of them that I've read before. The ones that I just said are in there. Well, he really wants to get one specific guy. Krampus? True. But no, the side character was, you know, he gets there in the end. Well, he's dead. I think he's dead. He gets the he get. I think he might have got his life back when Krampus was and stuff. I don't know. I don't know. I really like that book, but this book is also very good. This one has I don't love short stories, if I'm being perfectly honest. Um, but some of them were pretty fun. I just don't love the pacing of a short story. I'm trying to bring. I actually have this. Oh, I wanted to see what I had for it. But I tend not to read anthologies of short stories because I don't like the pacing. Business. Other horrors. Hello. Trying to see who all of this was. Um, oh, there's a Tenerife Do one. That was a good one. But all of them kind of like go into different areas of um winter time or Christmas celebrations and traditions. So there's like I think there's another Krampus sort of story. There's that Welsh thing that we talked about when we played um when we played the seasonal home safety hotline where there was like that weird like horse skull thing. Yeah, they had that, but that there was vampires involved with that one. There was a Jewish one where they were doing a form of it, I don't really understand what was happening in that one though. Um but yeah, there's a Hanukkah one. But I was really confused by it. I was really confused by the Jewish one cuz they were doing like they're going around a cemetery and they were giving notes to the grave stones or the grave creatures there. And it was some sort of tradition that the father did and passed on to them, and it's like a thing that's specific with this family because this is not like a Jewish tradition, but it was a form of as a Passover thing. uh Wait, not Passover. The Rosh Hashanah. It's something you do between Rosh Hashanah and um Yom Kippur. Hold on. I don't know why the name has eluded me, but I know what it is. That helps. Ooh, thank you for following Lyra. Lyra, welcome. Thank you for the follow. And we'll get there. To mm, mm. Tashlik. Tashlik. 3 new followers today, I know, right? What did I do? Tashlik. Okay, so Tashlik it's a casting off. It's usually um done it's not done between, but a lot of times it happens in between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, which is why I get confused. It's supposed to be done on the first day of Rosh Hashanah, and it's basically when you take um you symbolically take your sins for the year and you cast them off, and it's supposed to be like bread, and you throw it into a body of water for ducks mostly. They also do more healthy things now because they know that bread is not necessarily good for ducks, but like you do it. It's a thing. It is a symbolic like, oh, I think of the sins that I've done this year, Like I was greedy, or I didn't keep the Sabbath, or I don't know. I was mean to my mom. And you throw it into the lake, and you're like, okay, I have cleansed my soul of these sins. And it was sort of a version of that they did, but they were like putting it into the graves, and I was really confused the whole time reading it. It is not a Hanukkah thing, and I don't really understand what happened. Oh, loved your last stream. I hope. Oh, I'm good. You go do your own thing. I'm good. Hey, yo, I'm poor. You see the number of followers I have? I definitely am not doing well monetarily. So I'm not gonna pay anybody for anything. Anyway, so that was one of the stories in this, but there was like a really good one that I really loved. It was like the first one that was like a tradition that I guess comes out of Germany. Like this was specific to a German town. And I don't know the tradition very well, and I don't remember it, and we should have looked it up. But we'll talk about it more. But it was like if your house is not clean enough on the night of the Epiphany, these creatures come in and they check how clean your house is. And if your house is not orderly and clean enough, they fucking murder your face. Alright, have a nice shower, Beaver. They murder your face, and my house, if that were a real thing, I would be dead. I would have been dead years ago. So dead. We would all. Do I look like I have the executive function in order to pass this test? No, I promise you, I do not. But I guess like, if you knew that was gonna happen, you'd get your ass together and you get your house clean. But yeah, I really like that one. There's a couple in here that I did like a lot. I like the Lieutenant Reeve do one because that one was just interesting, and she always like brings such a good perspective, especially from like historical Black American perspective. I really enjoy them. I can't remember the Amakatsu one actually, but yeah, this was pretty good. We'll add a review. I thought some of them were adventurous, but intense. I guess some of them were sad. I don't know. This one's really hard to give out, so we'll just say a mix for all of this. We'll also say it's complicated. It's complicated. There's so many things in here. We'll say yes because there is a lot of different people and stuff in this. It's complicated. Okay, that was hard to do because it's about things. Wait, you're saying all I gotta do to get out of this shit is to stop cleaning? Oh, yes, no. Bro, fucking hell. Could also just nope, don't say that one out. Nope, no. As I like to tell my loved ones, playing Peak really helps with my suicide ideation. So maybe you should play some Peak, bro. I don't know. Have you played Peak recently? Cause it really I'll just be like, wee! I get to jump off of a very high place and okay. If I could stream Peak, I would, but I can't. This one, I'm gonna give it a 4. Which is surprising, but I think that this would be such a fun thing to have on my shelf, so that like during the winter Christmas time, Like I could read it, or like if I had kids or my nephew was around, I could be like, all right, we're gonna read a spooky story before bed. You better behave, or I'm gonna send the Bill Schnicker after you, or whatever. What do you think you have to? Oh, that's true. But you don't get to actively jump off of a building. And by building, I meant mountain. I'm fine. Uh... Also, I get to do. I do risky things because I'm like, ooh, who cares if I die? Who cares? It doesn't matter. And then I play with Glitch, and Glitch is like, I care if you die. I care, Callie. I care. And I'm like, it'll be fine. You'll bring me back. It'll be okay. Please stop doing dumb shit. No, I think I won't. I think I'll continue to do dumb shit. Insert clips of me doing fucking stupid shit and from Glitch's point of view, and me just falling to the ground over and over and over again. Insert clip from we did not actually record or stream playing with my sister, and I was like, what's this do? And I accidentally launched her into the air because I didn't know. um I just go play some new DDLC mod that makes me cry like a baby, and then I go do laundry. I mean, that's the adult way to handle your suicide ideation issues, I think. What am I doing? What do I want to add here? Book good. No. I don't love short stories, but I do love a lot of these authors. I think this is a fun addition to any library to read during the holiday season. It's nice to have holiday horror instead of all the holiday romance out there. Yay! Hooray. That's how I felt about that book. Where are we on? We're doing good. I'm doing such a good job today. Holy shit. Could it be because 3 of those books I didn't want to talk too deeply on? Yeah, probably. I had someone absolutely scandalized that I was my age and watching a DDLC stream. It was funny shit to me a few days ago. Oh. To be fair, Ro, I don't know how old you are, but I don't think you're that far away from my age. But I'm also an adult, so what are you gonna do? I was making a joke about how, like, I think it's kind of ridiculous how, like, people act like when you turn 30, it's like the end of the world. And like they started talking about how, like, oh, that's over the hill now. And I'm like, I'm sorry, no, it is not. We are definitely living well past 60. Like, as the human race, we live well past 60. I mean, like, maybe because the world is going to end, but then you whippersnappers, I shall say, will also die with me. So, like, I don't fucking care. But, like, 30 is not over the hill. 30, you're still fairly young. You're not youthful, but you're still, like, you're still in the establishing phase of your life. Usually, you're still, like, kind of like things are established, more established than they usually are, but you're usually, like, it's still in the building up of your life phases. Then Z be like, I'm 23, I'm past my prime. Oh, fucking hell. I don't know if I can get it. Like I don't under my 20s were the worst time of my life. I fucking hated myself and everything in my 20s. 30s? 30s has been pretty good for to me. Cackles an elder millennial. Yeah, I don't think that we're I think I'm like mid millennial. I don't think I'm elder. But yeah, no, I just like 30s has been good to me. I don't know. So I just feel like 30s is like when life feels like it starts. My 20s were tumultuous and awful. And like I didn't understand who I was or what I wanted out of life. Now I understand all those things and like I'm having a good time. I know who is in my life is like good to me. I have like an established like friend group. I have room for more friends, obviously. I have room to make more friends, but like I'm not like threatened by the fact that like I'm in my 30s. And I think it's fucking weird that I'm being told that like I'm basically like knocking on my grave right now, and I'm like no. And then like that's because internet culture currently is owned by young people, and that's why it's awful. Internet culture is awful because young people rule it, and young people are fucking dumb and are annoying. My 30s would be perfect if my back didn't hurt so much. That's true. But everything in my life has always been pain, so uh, whatever. I get better drugs now. Well, no. I had more weed when I was when I was in my 20s. It's just not really feasible to get out here and not legal. Fucking France. I hear that, then look at the old fogies that have been in power forever and realize I got so much life to live. I agree with that. Yeah, like I mean, like if you look at the people who are in politics, they're significantly older than I am still. Which I don't necessarily think is a good thing. Like they should be older than me, but significantly, I don't know about that. Um, and then like I uh I think about like how a lot of people didn't start like they didn't get published until they were in their 40s or 50s even. Like people didn't start their careers until they were much older. Like you have so much more life to live after 30. My 30s was the decade I got out of Utah, came out as trans. Hell, I didn't even start hormones until earlier this year. Congratulations! Yeah, good. Congratulations for getting out of Utah, too. There is still a not insignificant. There are still a not insignificant number of people in Congress that are at least twice my age, which is horrifying at the a government level, but still. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like I do think that like people should be older than me who are working in government, but I don't think they should be significantly older than me. Like maybe 10 years would be okay. I'd give them 10, 20, but why are they like twice my age a lot of the times? Why is that happening? That's not okay. I don't like that. What is the president like old enough to be not my grand well, actually, maybe. Maybe my grandfather. But like he my everyone would have had to been kind of young when they had kids if that were true. But not like out of the realm of possibilities, you know? Like either had kids very late and could be my parent, or had kids very early and could be my grandparent. I'm in an in between there. That doesn't seem right though. Okay, anyway, book. Book, what we're actually here to do. The Devouring Light by Kat Ellis. This one is a young adult, weird thriller, horror, something. I don't know. Um, hmm. So I found parts of it annoying. Mostly the young adult parts of it. But I did think that this one was actually like pretty good formulated horror in the way that it was constructed, in the way that the story unfolded. And then it just had those good vibes, those good creepy like crawling up your spine kind of vibes. I like that. Let's go ahead and read the Discord. Oh, tiniest description ever. A horror novel that tells the story of rival Hayden and Deacon, whose bands are stranded on the way to a local rock festival. They spot an old house that they discover has been waiting for them both for a long time, and the house knows help isn't coming. Okay, so they get stranded. They're on a tour bus. Things are kind of fucking weird. They're both going to this like band competition. They have a history where they were both on some sort of like American Idol type show, you know? And but they were teenagers, so it was kind of like more like American Idols for specifically teenagers. And Hayden's parents are like weird and like child star parents, you know, with the auditions and the weirdness. Wow, my vision just got really blurry. Whoa, that was weird. Hold on a minute. Medical emergency? No, we're alright. Not medical emergency. I don't know what that was. Weird. Okay. Anyway. Do you think that's why I started to get stuff? Oh, I'll talk about it later. um. Oh, and then Deacon. I don't really know what was up with him, but like, they were just like both really pressured by their families, and um, Deacon wanted to be friends, and Hayden wanted to be friends, but then like she perceived he like backstabbed her at some point, and then like had a vendetta against him, and I don't really know what was going on. It was kind of stupid. That was the parts that I didn't like. But then there's this whole part with this house that's in the middle of this place, and their bus gets into a uh accident where it like flips over and like people die, and then like they're going through this like weird um mucky swampland, and they're able to find this abandoned mansion, and there's like weird like leech is doing crazy stuff, and the house is like a beacon sort of, and but they're able to find it, and then some of their friends also find it, and then um there's like weird ghost stuff happening, and they find things about other people who have found this, and there's like found footage things like placed into it, and I don't know, it was pretty interesting. But like the spooky bits of it were fun, the teen bits of it were annoying. um Also there's gay people. Lots of gay happening in this. The main character is very much a lesbian, and is in love with someone in it, who I believe is actually, no, I don't remember. No spoilers though. But like, yeah. She's just a lesbian. Hooray. I don't remember why I read this one. It came up and they're like, you might like this. And I was like, well, okay. We'll go ahead and add review. Adventurous, dark, tense. Is this plot or character driven? Mix. Development, sure. For a teen book, why not? It was pretty strong. You find the characters lovable. I'm gonna say it's complicated because I didn't, but like I could see how you could. But the fact that they were like 17 or 18 maybe, made me kind of hate them. Yeah. Hi. Were the characters diverse? I think so. Were the flaws of the main character a main focus of the book? I'm doing okay. I'm on book 5. I'm on book 5 out of 10. It's going all right. I don't want this book, so it gets a 3. But I didn't hate this book, so it's like a 3.25. Yeah. So I disliked all the band stuff in the background, all of that, but the actual spooky parts in the house, that was pretty cool. Done. That's how I felt about that book. Oh, now I get a new book. Oh, did I make that lie? Okay. Yeah, I did. I made it so that you guys can't make me lose my glasses. Unless you really fucking mean it. Know what I mean? And then I also added surprise karaoke to our channel points. So you can force us to stop what we're doing and pull up a karaoke. I don't know. A guy I watched did it. And I was like, that's cool. I like that. Yoink. Oh, really snuggled up next. He's so cute. He has a boo-boo on his paw. Kind of worried about it. We would take him to the vet if we had the money to take him to the vet. Well, I mean, we would do it. We would just, suffer for the whole month. But we don't have a car right now, so he would have to be walked to the vet. Kind of worried about it. Alright, Mr. Lullaby. Mr. Lullaby by J.H. Markert. I haven't read anything from this person before, but I had been pushed this book before. Yeah, I think 1K isn't too bad. But I was pushed this and the cover was giving, Georgie vibes, so I was like, all right. And then like I was looking at some stuff and like some of the blurbs on this one were like, J.H. Markert is like the next Stephen King, and I was like, okay. Yeah, see, from J.H. Markert, the clear heir to Stephen King, so says Peter Ferris. This horrifying novel brings our darkest dreams and nightmares to life. In the vein of T. Kingfisher, okay, Christopher Golden and the boundary protecting our world from monsters on the other side is weakening, and Mr. Lullaby is about to break through. This is another one where the thing that I really like about this book is the fantasy elements that are in there. So there's a lot of dark fantasy stuff. There's this whole um dream world, and there's the people who are in comas who apparently live in the dream world, and there's like other versions of themselves who are there, and like time works differently there. So there's like a child who is in a coma, who has been in a coma for several years at this point, it sort of sounds like. But he is a grown man with a wife over in the dream world and is out there fighting in some uh soldier thing. He's like a soldier who's like trying to fight back um whatever is trying to break through into the real world with Mr. Lullaby. And there's this tunnel that is a like entrance or I don't know, portal into the dream world and out of the dream world. And it's growing bigger. We'll keep on reading this. The small town of Herod's Reach has seen its fair share of the macabre, especially inside the decrepit old train tunnel around which the town was built. After a young boy, Sully Dupree, is injured in the abandoned tunnel and left in a coma, the townspeople are determined to wall it up. Deputy Sheriff Beth Gardner is reluctant to buy into the superstitions until she finds two corpses at the tunnel's entrance, each left with strange calling cards inscribed with old lullabies. Soon after, Sully Dupree briefly awakes from his coma and says some shit. Before falling back into his slumber, Sully manages to give his older brother a message. Sully's mind, since the accident, has been imprisoned on the other side of the tunnel in La La Land, a grotesque and unfamiliar world inhabited by evil mythical creatures of sleep. Sully is trapped there with hundreds of other coma patients, all desperately fighting to keep the evils of the dream world from escaping into the waking world. Elsewhere, where a man troubled with his painful youth has for years been hearing a voice in his head, he calls Mr. Lullaby, and he finally started to act on what that voice is telling him, to kill any coma patients he can find, quickly. Something is waking up in the tunnel, something is trying to get through, and Mr. Lullaby is coming. Alright, yeah. It does ring a little bit of Stephen King stuff. I agree with that. I do think that like I definitely saw the parallels of like earlier, not like early King stuff, but like it. So earlier, but not like his 70s stuff, but like maybe his like 80s and 90s things. Um and I liked it. I have my major critique with this is that it was 312 fucking pages. This is a book that needed like 500 plus. This needed way more room. And like I would be fine. I would be fine with the number of pages that this was and how this played out if there was another book that was coming with this. But as far as I can tell, there isn't. And so I'm like, well, what the fuck? What were we doing here? But there was so much going on, and the cast was really big, and I would find myself getting a little bit confused as to who was who because it happened so quickly. And there's all of these coma patients, and they have this whole entire thing going on in La La Land that we don't even get to see. Which I also think is bullshit. I would have been so cool if this was like a part one and a part two, similarly to how it was played out. And so you had this being the part one, and then we had part two be in La La Land. And that would have been I think a better pacing for this book. But I really liked the imagery and the fantasy elements that happened in this one. I really liked the concept of the old lullabies and the magic that was happening with that. Um Weird essay stuff happened but was not depicted, and there was like a little bit of icky sex stuff, but nothing with children, nothing awful. It wasn't bad. Just that like one of the bodies had been assaulted and they knew that and they mentioned that. And then also there's stuff with the guy who's off trying to kill all the coma patients and some weird succubus lady. I don't really know. He starts picking up also he like gets a bus and he starts picking up like weird murderers and brings them to the town and kind of like lets them loose while chaos is happening. Um it was weird. Again, that's the thing, is like it was interesting, but like there wasn't enough time to really like go through everything and there wasn't enough time to have that much of an emotional attachment to all of these characters because we have that whole thing with the guy and his gang of serial killers and his succubus girlfriend and his mother who apparently is demon possessed or something like that, and we didn't really like get into that very much. It was very confusing. And then we have Beth and Sully, the coma patient, and his brother who just came back from being uh I guess maybe he was in Afghanistan or something like that. Is that what they say? No, his older brother is there. He comes back and he's got the PTSD, obviously. And there's like this relationship between him and Beth that doesn't get like to be fully explored. And there's like Beth, who's a young woman who's in this small town, who is the deputy sheriff, and there's her relationship with the sheriff who is also there, and how he also like has broader implications with the other police work people there. And then um there's Sully and the brother. I forgot the brother's name. But there's his parents and what's going on with them. There's this whole thing with a hotel in the area, and then like also another hotel and a spite house, and there's just so much happening in this. This needed another. I would have given this another 300. It should have been double the size. It should have been in like the 600, 700 pages mark. And instead, it was like around 300 pages. Not enough room. Not enough room for as ambitious of a story as this was. um, but I think that that's sometimes a good critique. If you're saying that like the story was really good and interesting, and I just wanted to know more, I think that says something about the story that means that it was a pretty good story. It just needed more. It needed more room. Oh my goodness. I'm being so loved by dogs right now. My dogs love me so much right now. It's because Remy's in bed. He stayed up all night and didn't go to bed until like 1 p.m. They're over here loving me instead. We usually sit at his feet. Now it's my turn. Anyway, let's go ahead and review this. This one was adventurous and probably emotional and dark, tense. This one was a mix of plot and character. There's character development. The characters are lovable, but they could have been more lovable if we would have just, not try to finish this book up in like 300 pages. What the fuck is that? Are the characters diverse? I would say no. Also, no gay. Wait. Secret gay. I lied. There's gay. There's gay. I forgot about it. Because it happened so quickly, I couldn't remember it all. There is secret gay, though. Fear not. Fear not, we had secret gay. Flaws, there are some of that, yeah. And, actually, let's go ahead and say it's complicated, because it's a little bit more plot oriented. What did I think of this book? Do I want to own this book? If this book had another 300 pages, I probably would want it. But it doesn't. So I think we're in the threes. We'll give it a high 3 though, a 3.75. I'll say I love the fantasy elements employed. Oh, where did R come from? Fantasy elements employed in this. I think that the characters were interesting and easy to were interesting and likable. However, I think there was too much going on for how short the book was. It needed another 2 pages of breathing room. There you go. I love the fantasy elements employed in this. I think that the characters were interesting and likable. However, I think that there was too much going on for how short the book was. It needed another 200 to 400 pages of breathing room for me. Yay. Also secret gay. Look at that. We're doing so good. We're good on time. We're having a good time. At least I am. Sour candy. Okay, sour candy is a novella. So, but I think it counts in the book thing. And it's only 100 pages. And I got a cough again. This was a weird book. Well, story. I it was short. I read it in a day because it's only 100 pages. I'm not even gonna read the description right now. I'm just gonna go off what I remember from it. My brain tried to complete that sentence as needed. 200 to 400 more gay people. Honestly, can't disagree. Well, there are some books like that we've read them. Everyone is a little bit gay, right? Is that just me being very bisexual? Who knows? Okay, so in this book, it starts out with this guy, our main character. He comes out and he's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna get intimate with my lady friend, hooray!" But she's like, "Boy, go give me some candy," and he's like, "Cool, I will go do that for you, and then we will have smooches." Okay, so he goes to Walmart to go get some candy, and while he's at Walmart, he sees a woman with a kid who's like dressed kind of weirdly. He's like in like old timey like clothing. It sort of looked like to him. um he looked like a paper boy on the side of the road seeing extra extra, read all about it. Candy is cool. But yeah, that's what it kind of looked like to him. And he's like, okay, and this kid is screaming and throwing a fit and is like, candy, I want to eat all the candy. And he's like, okay, this is why I don't want children. Children fucking suck. I hate kids. And he's sort of like thinking some less than nice things about the mom. What are you doing, big boy? Okay. Ooh. What are you doing, big boy? Sorry about that, guys. He's thinking less than nice things about the mom. And then like he sort of is like, oh, I shouldn't think things like that. I shouldn't, you know, she's doing her best with her kid, you know, what do I have to say about that? And then like the manager comes over and is like gonna like maybe kick them out because like the kid is like throwing that much of a fit. And he decides to try to like help out and be like, oh hey, hey kid, uh chocolate is cool, eh? Or something like that. I don't know. He tries to like help out, sort of, and he kind of gets involved with the kid, and the kid's like, yeah, here, you want some of this? And like hands him a piece of like sour candy, like gummy candy, and is like, here you go. And he's like, thanks, and eats it, and is like, weird. And he's like, I don't really like sour candy, but okay. I made him be quiet for a little bit. Anyway, and so he leaves Walmart. And he's on the phone with his lady friend whom he is trying to become intimate with. And he's like, I'm on my way back. Crazy thing happened with kid, but everything's all good. And then he gets into a car accident. And it's not a very good car accident, and he's a little disoriented, and he gets out of the car, and then who comes out of the other car but the lady with the kid who was in the Walmart, and she comes right at him like she's gonna like beat him up or something like that, and she just gets over at him, and she's like, he's your problem now. And then she jumps out into traffic and she splatter. Whee! And in the meantime, he's like, ah, she had a kid. There's a kid. Go check the kid. And they don't see a kid in there. And he's like confused. And then the police are there, and the police are getting kind of like weird with him. And they're like acting like he did something wrong. And he's like, I don't understand why you guys are treating me all weird. And they're like, well, you told us that you had your lady friend back at your house, and you wanted us to go to her because she would be freaking out, worried that something happened to you, and you didn't, your phone broke or died or something like that. I don't know. And we went to the house, and no lady friend, but that kid that you were describing, that you said was with the woman, yeah, he was alone in your house. What's that about? And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And they're like, you know, your son? And he's like, I do not have a child. I have a lady friend and some candy that I am trying to do a thing with, but no kids, nope, don't have any of them. And they're like, okay, you do though. And they're like explaining all of the stuff that they know that he has, and like all of the documents that they were able to like look up before all of this, and then they like take him back to his house, and they go in, and there's the kid, and he's like, daddy. And it is weird and confusing, and eventually he's trying to like deny it, and they like are like, no, here are all of the things, and look, you have pictures of like vacations and stuff. in the house, and it's all there, and the kid is there, and he's all like, "What the fuck? Now I am a parent, and I didn't want to be, and also this is scary." And and the kid is like sort of like demon smiling, and it gets really weird from there. You may be thinking, Kelly, it was already weird, and I would agree. No, it gets weirder. It gets a lot weirder. It gets to the like he ends up being basically imprisoned by the little boy in his own home. He loses his job and everything because of the imprisonment. He's not allowed to leave anywhere. And nobody seems to like everybody remembers he has a kid, and he's like, what the fuck is going on? And he's not allowed to eat anything but the sour candies, and he's like getting sick, and his hair is falling out, and his teeth are starting to like rot, and can only eat the sour candy though, and it starts to get like super bad for him. Anyway, that's I won't give any more away, but it gets so weird. Anyway, the guy's name apparently was Phil. Um, Sometimes the Lulu is the Sululu, but not always. It was a real. It's 100 pages, 107. This says. Honest, there's an audio version of it. It'll take you like maybe an hour, maybe two. Totally worth it. Very like super like good cloying sort of horror. The kind of like, and it makes you resign to it eventually, and then I don't know, I really liked it. I didn't even give you the description. I just told you everything I could remember from it. At first glance, Phil Pendleton and his son Adam are just an ordinary father and son, no different from any other. They take walks to the park together, visit county fairs, museums, and zoos, and eat together, overlooking the lake. Some might say that the father is a little bit too accommodating, given the lack of discipline when the child loses his temper in public. Some say he spoils his son by allowing him to set his own bedtimes and eat candy whenever he wants. Some might say that such leniency is starting to take a toll on the father, given how his health has declined. What no one knows is that Phil is a prisoner, and that up until a few weeks ago, and a chance encounter at a grocery store, he had never seen the child before in his life. Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty interesting. I did kind of like the concept of like the story ends up talking about the difficulties of parenthood that people tend to ignore or leave out completely. Where it sort of feels like one minute you're just a person, and then all of a sudden you're a parent, and now you're responsible for this kid, and you don't really know how to handle it, and they're kind of like a weird alien creature that's suddenly in your house, and you feel like you're completely out of control with it. um that might be coming from me, a person who does not have children, unless you count the dogs. um Welcome back, Biru. But I did think that there was like a parallel there of talking about maybe some anxieties of parenthood, that maybe aren't discussed so openly, about uh, not feeling in control of your own life because you have this strange creature that has now invaded your life, and having to resolve that. And that might be how some maybe reluctant parents might feel about their kids. I don't know. I enjoyed it. We'll go ahead, add review. This one was dark. Intense. Yeah, that's about it. Dark intense. I would say I'm gonna still say it's a medium pace. It did not feel that fast, even though it's a short thing. Character or plot driven, kind of a mix. Complicated on if there's character development. Are they lovable? Not really. Would you call the cast of characters diverse? No. Are the flaws of the main characters the main focus of the book? Yes, sort of. We're gonna go back into the threes again. I'll do a 3.5 on this one though. I thought it was pretty good for what it was. Again, something kind of short. But I did like a lot of what was in it, and it was like good horror. Hello, Yellow Monster. We got our dad joke of the day. Good because we're talking about dads. The midget fortune teller who escaped from the prison was a small medium at large. Oh boy. But hey, not a dwarf. Yeah. Oh boy. Thanks, Yellow, for the joke. Anyway, let me focus on writing this. What do I think about this? The atmospheric core of this one. I also think that the conversation of reluctant parenthood was a strong theme. This that was telling. Good enough. Easy peasy. We are rating and reviewing all the books I read this last month. This is Sour Candy, and I do this on Storygraph. This one we gave a 3.5 because it was alright. It wasn't bad. Next one, we only have 3 more, so that we're doing pretty good on time. 3 more for an hour? We'll be good. And then we can just, like, hang out for a minute. Sort of. A little smutty. Not super smutty. Not smutty enough that I'm, like... I mean, I've read much more smutty smut in this, but there was a lot of things happening, and it's vampires. So vampires, like, inherently have, sex stuff happen in it. And, like, sex things happened in this for sure. This is Rachel Harrison, though. We've read a bit of Rachel Harrison before. She's the one who did, Play Nice, I think, from last time? Not Twilight. I've actually never read Twilight. So maybe. There might be smut in Twilight. I'm not entirely sure. But, like, things... Twilight... Vampires are inherently, like, sexy. Like that's the point of vampires, is that it's a monster based in puritanical beliefs and a change in sexuality of and then blood drinkers. You read the first 14 pages of Twilight. Well, that's pretty good. And vampires and werewolves end up being in the same sort of vein. Werewolves tend to go more gay than I think vampires do, which might be why I like them more. Did you burn it afterwards? Surprisingly, my husband read them all, I think, and he was like, not impressed. He was dating a girl at the time who was really into them, so he was making attempts. This was back when he would make attempts for the people he cares about. No, he does not read any of the garbage that I read. Expects me to read his shit though. I threw it across the room, I think, damaged the cover, and I felt bad. It was a borrowed book. It wasn't good. I read the first chapter, I think. And I just didn't like I said I just didn't like the author style, the writing style of it, and was like, I don't really want to read it. So Rachel Harrison did Play Nice, and what was the other one that I read of hers? Black Sheep. And I've liked the things that that she does. She's definitely like a sort of Gen Z sort of girl author. She writes younger women doing young women things, who are sort of complicated and usually not the most likable people, at least in the beginning. This one was a little bit different because the women in this were a little bit older. So like the first one, she's like in her mid 30s or something like that, and sort of is dealing with this sense probably because the Gen Z girlies are making everybody feel like your life is ending when you get to your 30s, as we discussed earlier. But she's sort of like unhappy with some of the choices that she made with her life, and she thinks her husband is cheating on her. She knows that he has in the past and has said that he was going to change, but we all know not to trust men when they say they're going to change. Actually, you should not don't trust people if they say they're going to change, because nobody actually does. It takes a lot more than what we think it will for people to actually change. So it is not something that I think you should trust when somebody just says it. But yeah, this was interesting. Interesting take on friendship. And at first, like, I kind of liked this main character more than I've liked others of her main characters. Usually I start out really disliking the main character in her books, and then like over time I slowly, as she changes because of what happens in the book, and as I get to know her more, I'm like, no, I get her motivations now. I kind of like her. This time I started out being like, no, I understand this woman. I kind of like her. I get where she's coming from. And then as time went on, I went, no, I kind of don't like her. I kind of, bad things are happening to her right now, and I kind of think she deserves them. And then like towards the end, like it gets like resolved. Um but there was a lot of stuff about like friendship and what that means when your life is falling apart and you accidentally turn into vampires. Whoopsie. We'll go ahead and read. A woman must learn to take her life by the throat. After a night out leads to irrevocable changes in this juicy, thrilling novel from USA Today's best-selling author of Such Sharp Teeth and Black Sheep. Haven't read Such Sharp Teeth. Sloane Parker, that one might be about werewolves. Sloane Parker is dreading her birthday. She doesn't need a reminder she's getting older, or that she's feeling indifferent about her own life. Her husband surprises her with a birthday weekend getaway. Not with him, but with Sloane's longtime best friend, troublemaker extraordinaire Naomi. Sloane anticipates a weekend of wine tastings and cozy robes and strategic avoidance of issues she'd rather not confront, like her husband's repeated infidelity. But when they arrive at their rental cottage, it becomes clear Naomi has something else in mind. She wants Sloane to stop letting things happen to her, and for Sloane to really live. So Naomi orchestrates a wild night out with a group of mysterious strangers, only for it to take a horrifying turn that changes Sloane's and Naomi's lives for literally forever. The friends are forced to come to terms with some pretty eternal consequences in this bloody, seductive novel about how it's never too late to find satisfaction, even though it might taste different than expected. Yeah, no, that's pretty good. That's not a bad description of what happens here. I think that the story ultimately is about the friends and about that sort of like dread of feeling like, because like I said some earlier, that like in your 30s you are more established. You're not established though. I don't think that you are like set in stone when you're in your 30s yet. I think that there's still like flexibility for change, but you're more established. You should have a better understanding of what you want and what you are comfortable with and what you are hoping for your life to, like, you're no longer just a blob of clay. Your clay has some form. It doesn't have all the details yet. It doesn't have everything, but there's form in it. And so in this story we have a character who is unhappy with the form that has taken place. And we have a friend who is like, you are letting this happen. You don't have to settle for this. You can move in any direction that you want. You don't have to stay with this cheating husband who sent you on a birthday celebration away from him so that he could continue to cheat on you, and gave you a gift of fucking iPods. Anyway, but yeah, it's really more about the friendship than anything else. And then like seizing your own life. Yeah, he sucks. He's a bad husband. Bad husband. Worst husband. That's what he gets on his mug. But she does end up leaving him pretty quickly after everything. And there's like a guy, and he's a vampire, and he changes them because of things. They weren't really planning on changing them, and they're like, well, they're gonna die if we don't, so here's the plan. And she keeps like trying to control things in the way that she does, instead of just like letting things or feeling things out and trying to something new. She's like trying to control to like maintain some semblance of her life as it is, that she's too scared of letting go of, and eventually like learning to let all of that go and what that means for their friendship. And um yeah, it was good. I liked it. I didn't love it as much as some of the other things that I've read from her, but like it was still pretty good. Definitely like not the spook it's not spooky. I don't find vampires all that scary though. Um but it was bloody. There was some gore. Yeah, I don't know. Sexy, bloody gore times, but not necessarily scary. So I would say it was dark, emotional, sure, tense. I wish there was scary here, because that would be nice to know if a book that is horror is scary, but it wasn't scary. This was mostly character, I would say. Lots of character development. I did find the characters lovable, but like it took a minute. And then, are the cast of characters diverse? I would say no. There were lesbians there was a whole entire orgy happening. There was people just, they didn't care. They're very pansexual over here in the vampire world. Are the flaws of the main characters the main focus of the book? Yes. I'm trying to decide if I want it. Because if it's not that I want it, it would definitely be in the high threes. Because I did really like it. So I think I might do a high 3. A high 3.75. I don't know what could have changed for me to like it more. But I think maybe I'm just more particular about my vampire horror. Like if they're not lesbian vampires, I guess I'm not that interested. And they weren't lesbian vampires. I love how Rachel Harrison writes complicated characters. For once, I actually started out liking the main character. Then slowly got fed up with her as as the story progressed. And then in the end, back to liking her. It was a good journey and a nice representation of friendship through challenges and changes in life. Hooray. Save. Next one. Ghost Eaters by Clay McLeod Chapman. We've talked about Clay a couple times. Maybe we haven't. I don't know, kind of think we have, but I can't remember. He did Whispers Down the Lane, which we did not discuss, but I read a long time ago. He's done Wake Up and Open Your Eyes. Let's look at what he's got here. Apparently Spider-Man stuff. Holy crap, some of these I don't. Breakfast in Mars and others. Okay. I'm trying to see some of the more he's done a lot of stuff. Okay, the remaking is more on the thing. On what I was thinking of. I haven't read this one. Stay on the Line. Also have not read this one. Wake Up and Open Your Eyes. I did read this one, but in February. What Kind of Mother? I read it last April. And I'm trying to think of what else there's one that just came out that I have right now that I'm gonna start today. I feel like there's something else. Oh yeah, I'm excited a little bit for this one that's going to, I think it comes out later. It's not out yet. Yeah, it comes out in 2026. This one is a horror romance. So I'm kind of excited to see what happens with that. But he's done a lot of stuff. And then Ghost Eaters. I guess that's the last one that I've actually seen from him. He does a lot of horror and horror related stuff, and then also comic books. We'll go ahead and read this one actually, because I need a reminder a little bit. Oh no, I never mind. I read the character's first name and I went, nope, I'm good. But we'll read it anyway. Karen hasn't been able to settle a single boundary with her charismatic but reckless college ex-boyfriend, Silas. When he asks her to bail him out of rehab again, she knows she needs to cut him off. But days after he gets out, Silas turns up dead of an overdose in their hometown of Richmond, Virginia, and Erin's world falls apart. Then a friend of her tells her about Ghost, a new drug that allows users to see the dead. Want to get haunted? He asks. Grieving and desperate for closure with Silas, Erin agrees to a pill popping seance, but the drug has unfortunate side effects. Okay, that's one way to say it. And once you take it, you can never go back. Um, yeah, this one was interesting. Starts out with them kind of more as teenagers, so they're like, Aaron is friends with, it's like a four group, a group of four people. So there's Aaron, there's Silas, there's another. I think the other friend was Trevor, and then there was a girl. There was a chick who also had a name that I cannot remember. Um, but she was there. And so they've been friends since even it sounded like since high school actually. And Silas has always been like super like the one who sort of like gets them all together and gets them excited for stuff. And like it starts off with them like breaking into a cemetery and then trying to have like some sort of seance there because Silas is sort of obsessed with trying to contact the dead, and um he lost his mother when he was quite young, um and had his first sort of paranormal experience during that. He was in the car accident that she died in, and he survived, but he says that he saw her ghost when she was dead. So he's kind of obsessed with trying to contact her again, and it's honestly kind of sad. And he gets like into drugs and stuff like that, and um, then he gets into this ghost drug or whatever, which is made out of some sort of mushroom, and it's kind of weird. So then when I think the like I said, I think the guy friend was Trevor. Trevor's like, I was like working with Silas and I know what was going on, and he wants us to go and have this seance, and they have to go out of town into this development that was like a housing development that was being built, and then they lost all of their money, so they're just like sort of sitting there. And he's like, we need an untainted house because if it needs to be somewhere where nobody has ever lived before, because if there's already ghosts there, it'll be harder to make contact with Silas. And so he kind of gets them to go out to this place, and she takes the drug because she's kind of like obsessed with Silas and is upset that she blew up. The last thing that she said to him was blowing up at him about his drug use and the way that he was destroying their lives. They're like now at least in their late 20s, maybe getting into like their 30s when this is happening. And like she kind of like wants to find a way to settle down, and the other girlfriend but not girlfriend um is there and is like, I want to get out of Richmond, Virginia. I want to go to New York. And but once you take the drug, you can't stop seeing the ghosts. And the ghosts just sort of see you everywhere. And if ghosts know that you can see them, they kind of attack you and feed off of you in a way. And it got so wild. It got crazy because she's like, she tries to leave and she's starting a new job, and the ghosts are like attacking her in her new office, and she can't stop seeing them everywhere, and they're haunting her everywhere, which is what was happening to Silas in his last days. And then it gets even creepier and crazier, and she like gets honestly very well structured book. A lot of the horror in it is less scary and more mounting dread, and it sort of like feels like a abusive cult is being formed, and like that's part of the dread and part of what's happening. And I don't know, I recommend the book though. I recommend it. It's not a 5 for me, but it is definitely in the 4s. I would love to own this book. Honestly, every horror that I've read from this author has been really good. So I'm kind of excited about this next book that I'm starting today. It's from him too. It came up, I didn't know it was coming out, and it came out, I don't know, a couple days ago. This one's sort of, it's young adult, but I don't know what to expect from it. He's never done a young adult before. But you know, I like a good young adult, so I don't mind them. The only thing I hate about young adult is that they're teenagers. But sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's fun to remember when you were a teenager and you played with fire and did dumb shit. Is this book? Oh, we didn't do this part. Pussy Eaters. It is adventurous, sort of. Emotional. Mysterious, not really. Sad, sure, tense. There's a lot of sad stuff in it. How'd you pace this book? Medium. Medium to slow. More medium. On the slower side of medium than the faster side of medium, if I'm being honest. Is this plot or character driven? Mostly character, because at some point I'm like, oh, you kind of are not sure if the main character is not just losing her fucking mind. Like, is she just going crazy? She could be. Is there strong character development? Yeah, I would say. She starts to learn how to, like, come into herself. Did you find the characters lovable? Yeah, sure. I liked her, anyway. Would you say the cast of characters is diverse? Ooh, is there any gay in this? Sort of. She's sort of bisexual to me. She reads as bisexual, anyway. I don't remember. But I wouldn't say that it's diverse because I don't really think it was. I think they were all white, but they're from Virginia, so. Are the flaws in the main character a main focus of this book? Yes. And I'm gonna give it a 4. This is a 4 for me. What do I want to say about this? This horror was less scary than it was uncomfortable, with a ton of mounting dread that sticks with you. The ghosts are terrifying, sure, but you get used to them pretty quickly. And they aren't the main focus of the narrative anyway. I the cult like control and the way he situation involves really moves with and her subsequent is where the horrors lie. Okay. This horror was less scary than it was uncomfortable, with a ton of mounting dread that sticks with you. The ghosts are terrifying, sure, but you get used to them pretty quickly, and they aren't the main focus of the narrative anyway. The cult-like control and the way the situation devolves with Sloane and her subsequent addiction to ghosts is where the real horrors lie. Yeah, hooray, save. 4.0, 4.0. Alright, last book, everybody. Are you ready for the last book? It's Barney! A novel by Mona Awad. We read in Mona Awad in September? Maybe? September? Maybe October? Don't remember. I want to look it up now. Let's go look. There's a lot of stuff she's written that I haven't read. Oh, there's a second one of this, so we might read that. I just need to try to get it. It's that one. Maybe I didn't read another one from her. I thought I did. Apparently not. Maybe somebody who has a similar name I'm thinking of. I'll look later. Okay, I thought I did read something else from her, but apparently not. This one was really interesting. I was drawn to the author because other people had been saying something about how she's a pretty prolific horror author, and so I kind of wanted to. I just wanted to see. I wanted to see what she was all about, I guess. And I guess I thought that I had read something from her, but apparently not. That's bothering me. It's gonna bother me, but it was. But this book takes place in what seems to be grad school, and the main character is Samantha, and she is a grad school I think she's doing a PhD. I think she's a PhD candidate, or like she might be just doing an MFA, a Masters of Fine Arts in literature. And I was kind of like in this world. I went to grad school for English, and so I didn't go in for an MFA program, but I thought about it real hard. There was a program that I could have done. I decided not to. I decided to stick with something that could be a little bit more commercialized and would fit better with my my bachelor's background, which was culinary arts and management. So I thought that because I was trying to shift into maybe going into a writing career, and I thought that if I stuck with professional technical writing, it would slot together a little bit more nicely, and I could have done something with food writing, or something like that could be more commercialized. And that's what I sort of like focused a lot of my studies on. But I also like went in and did a lot of literature stuff and I did a couple of fiction writing things just so that I could also get teaching of writing. I did TESOL, which is teaching English to speakers of other languages. Um, I also did uh, children's and young adult literature, just because I wanted that to slot in with the ability of doing teaching writing, because I kind of was thinking I wanted to do that. I just wanted to have a lot of backups. So that's what I was doing in grad school. So I sort of like recognized some of the feelings that this character was going through. She's has this workshop that they put together, and it's all women, and that feels sexist to begin with and makes me upset. And all the other women in the program are all kind of like weird and like cliquey, and they're all like really cutesy, and they call each other bunny, and it's fucking weird. And it is I don't know. I don't know how to get I don't it's a little crazy. This is a little insane. This book is crazy. I finished it last night and I still can't like fully explain what happened in it. So we're going to go ahead and read the description. Samantha Heather Mackey couldn't be more of an outsider in her small, highly selective MFA program at New England's Warren University, a scholarship student who prefers the company of her dark imagination to that of most people. She is utterly repelled by the rest of her fiction writing cohort, a clique of unbearably twee rich girls who call each other bunny and seem to move and speak as one. Yeah, twee is the best word for them, honestly. It's a word that I don't use very often. Not like super in my lexicon of like, it's just not like fully in my vocabulary. It's in my lexicon, but it's just like it's not one I go to. Yeah, I haven't heard it in a while either, but it really fucking works. They're very like a lot of the people who go to this program are rich people, and Samantha isn't rich, but that's just because her parents made some bad decisions. I believe her mother has passed, but she didn't have a good relationship with her mother. And then also her father lost a lot of his money, and uh also does not have a very good relationship with her. So she doesn't, I don't know, she doesn't have much going for her on that. I think that maybe her father has money and maybe her mother didn't, and she grew up with her mom. And so now, I don't know. It was a little bit, that part is a little cloudy for me. To be fair, I read a lot of this while I was very sick. So some things didn't stick. Um, but she's uncomfortable around these girls. They're kind of icky. Like, I love cutesy and pink and adorable, and I have stuffed animals, and I love all of the soft fluffy, you know, like that's part of my vibe. But I think that if that was like the only parts of someone, there was like no edge to them at all. Like I have the fluffy and the cute and the pink and the adorable, but I read shit like this, and I I really have like my spookiness, and I'm also kind of a bitch. I feel like if I wasn't a bitch, my love for fluffy pink clouds of cotton candy and cupcakes and cute adorable pink pastel goth whatever I do, like that would be unbearable. If I wasn't a bitch, my voice would be annoying as hell. But that I got that bitch edge to me, so you know. I would hate being friends with me. How you guys deal with it? I don't know. You're all saints. Okay, let's read the second thing of this. But everything changes when Samantha receives an invitation to the bunny's fabled smut salon and finds herself inexplicably drawn to their front door, ditching her only friend Ava in the process. As Samantha plunges deeper and deeper into the bunny's sinister yet saccharine world, beginning to take part in the ritualistic off-campus workshop where they conjure their monstrous creations, the edges of reality begin to blur. Soon her friendships with Ava and the bunnies will be brought into deadly collision. Saints? Did I say? Boy, I don't know. I am full of drugs currently still. The spellbinding new novel from our most fearless chronicles of female experiences. Bunny is down the rabbit hole tale of loneliness, belonging, friendship, and desire, and the fantastic and terrible power of imagination. Okay, so Smut Salon is kind of funny. But yeah, Samantha does have a friend whose name is Ava. Ava is a little bit weird, kind of like extra bitchy. So, like me. But she's kind of like, and she really, really hates the bunnies. And makes that fairly well known. And Samantha is completely and totally transfixed in love with her. But is afraid to say it because she's afraid to scare her away, basically. So she's like, "Oh, we'll just be friends, and that'll be okay." But she's in love. She's so in love. But then when she starts going to the smut salon workshops, they first like sort of they get her to, like to tell a story about like having sex with a guy and like what that was like, and to give a dirty story. And um it's done in the way, if you've ever been in a fiction workshop, it is similar in the way that those are done. And it is uncomfortable if you've ever been in a fiction workshop. And the way that she describes these workshops is so fucking funny to me, because they like say some stuff and it's like, that is a thing that people would say in your fiction workshop, but it was like, it fucking didn't mean anything, and it was so annoying. I really like the way this plays with the body, is one of the things that they would say a lot, and it's just like, oh, gross. Oh, fuck. I hate English people. MFA English people are fucking so pretentious and awful. It's annoying. I was an English grad student, so therefore, um, annoying. I had to be annoying. It's part of it comes with the territory. And then I also like fluffy, cute things. I actually don't like rabbits that much. I had a rabbit, and that kind of like ruined my feelings on rabbits. But okay, so this sort of like buries the lead a little bit, but like at the smut salon, they are trying to make the perfect man, and they figured out that they can do this by some ritualistic thing that they do where they like think real hard on it and then sacrifice a rabbit, and then the rabbit kind of explodes. The name Smut Salon is funny. It is funny. the rabbit actually explodes and things catch on fire because of they're doing some sort of, I don't know, witchcraft. But she's also being drugged. Yeah, it explodes. Bunny guts everywhere. It's visceral, actually. The descriptions of it. And the curtains go on fire. But they do this over and over again, and they're trying to make a guy the perfect guy. And if he doesn't come out quite right, they murder him with an axe. And then like if he doesn't come out quite right but is passable, they just kind of like drive them out into the country and push them out of the car, and it's like, okay, you figure yourself out, but you're not quite what we were looking for. Um and that happens several, like they do it like hundreds of times, and she's like being drugged in this whole time, and Ava doesn't know where she goes, and it is so fucking weird. This whole book is so weird. It is satirical. So, what did the reader's drawn to darkly satirical horror about intoxicating pool of belonging versus the terror of losing yourself in a clique? Yeah, that's sort of what it is. Because like she's being drugged into it, but like she's open to it because she does want to belong, and she's always been on the outside, like even within her own family, and she's never felt like she's belonged in any place. And the only person she's ever felt like she belonged to was Ava, who she's in love with and is scared to tell her. I don't want to like give away too much, but it gets even fucking weirder. It's very literary, this whole entire book. So if you like literary stuff, I think you probably would like this. There's a lot of symbols, and it twists and turns in interesting ways. It's a very deep book, so the no surface horror, no sexual assault for funsies, which happens in so much horror recently. But it's if you're looking for something that's just fun, this isn't just fun. It's a little satirical, it's a little bit silly, but it does like really get into like a crazy space. And then it's another one where you're starting to be like, okay, is she just crazy? What's happening here? And then like there's a lot of symbolism of like Alice in Wonderland, because you have the rabbits, and there's throwbacks to like other literary devices and things like that. I don't know, I enjoyed it intellectually. As far as horror goes, I definitely had like the creeping dread that I tend to enjoy. I love like a slow burn where it starts out, it's nothing is outwardly terrifying. It's not like jump scaring you in any way, but like it's just like mounting the dread, and you know something's gonna happen, but you don't really know what that something is until it does happen. And the end was really nice. The pacing on the whole thing I thought was pretty good. And then the end was confusing. But it was like the end was like shaping up, and everything was making sense with the end. And then the end, literally the last word that happens in the last paragraph of this book changed everything, and it became confusing. But it was like it was wrapping up so nicely, and then it got what? So Yeah, and now there's a second one, so that is there's a sequel. So I don't know. I don't know what happens in the sequel. It's interesting though. Um, 305 pages, so not that long of a book, but uh, I yeah, it was good. I finished it last night. I liked it. I'm gonna give it a 5 actually, cause I just need it in my life. Okay, I don't need to explain myself to you. I don't need to explain myself to you. There's a stag in there, and it could be me. Except I'm. Wait, I have antlers. We're not gonna think about that too hard. This is why I'm gender non-conforming. I have antlers. I just wanted to be cute. And I am. I'm the most adorable gender non-conforming something. Winter. I guess am I a stag? Neat. Usually I'm attracted to stags, but here we are. I'm a yeah, I'm a reindeer. Wait, do girl reindeers have some deer who are female have antlers? It's just not very common. Yeah, so this is dark, occasionally a little funny, pretty emotional actually. Um say sad and tense too. This is on the slower side of medium, but I'm gonna keep going with medium. The mix of plot and character. There is a lot of character development, I think, though. I love the characters. Are they diverse? We'll say yes because lesbians. Are the flaws of the main characters a main focus of the book? Yes, indeed. Hello, husband. Husband has awoken from nap. This one's getting a 5 from me because I just feel like, I love when something gets literary, you know? God, I love when someone gets literary. Don't kink shame. Um, well, the horror wasn't perfect level being read. The the climax was something. The climax was provocative? Nah. Like I want to say like it was well timed. Maybe we'll just say masterful. We don't have to say much about it. It's fine. This is masterful, and it was wrapping up so nicely in a way that made total sense until last last sentence of the last paragraph. What the fuck? Yeah. Yeah, God, I love when someone gets literary with me. Don't kink shame me. I enjoyed this one, and while the horror wasn't intense, it had the perfect level of creeping dread. The climax was masterful, and it was wrapping up so nicely in a way that made total sense until the last word in the last sentence in the last paragraph. What the fuck? Hooray! We've done it. And just in time, too. Look at me. We're supposed to end at 6 o'clock, and it is 6 o'clock. Wow. Thank you, thank you. Let's get to the generation of the summary, because we'll just take a look at what we got over here. It's generating. Give it a second. Wrap up. 10 books. 3,527 pages. Not bad. Here are my average ratings. Average rating of 4.5. Highest rated reads for this one, which makes a lot of sense. I read all fiction, all horror, all digital, a weird graph. Look at these 2 days. One of them was my birthday when I was like a little drunk. And then the day after when I was like, fuck my life, I feel sick. We can do a ratings collage, which will show all of our ratings for today. Oh, thank you. I forgot about that. Yeah. Good water. So yeah. Bunch of 3s, but a couple of 4s. A couple of 4s and 2 5s. So not bad. Not bad. Nothing, I didn't hate anything this time, so I think that's pretty good. Anyway, we had talked previously about maybe not doing this all in one go at least. And then like instead every Monday I would rate and review the books that were read that week. So that way you don't have to sit through 3 hours of me yapping about books. But also, I don't know if you like 3 hours of me yapping about books, but we would open up with it and I would yap about the books that I read that week, and then we would move into playing a game. A cozy game. So like it would be like Tiny Bookshop or Animal Crossing or whatever once I get all that set up so that I can get my Switch hooked up and everything. And I just wondered what you guys thought of that. Or would you prefer doing it as like once a month we do all of the books? Because we did have people come in, but then they left. And I was thinking, that's why I randomly went, oh, do you think because I put up a short? I put up a YouTube short. I put it on a couple of all the places. It's on TikTok. It might be on Instagram. I don't know. I tried, but like it was confusing. I fucking hate Instagram so much. Or maybe that's why we had some people come in, because I had it go up when I started. You just have a good time hanging out, so it doesn't really matter what we do anyway. Yeah, I figured. Yeah, I saw you left a comment. That's why I went, oh, maybe that's why. Because I got 3 new followers, and yes, one of them was just trying to make me buy their shit, but you know, it counts. You guys are fine with either way. Okay. Well, do we want to take, because it's going to be difficult next month, so we can do it in December to see what we think of it. And then if we're like, no, I like it better, I liked doing it all in one go better, we can switch back. We'll just take December and try it. So then next Monday we'll do a little bit of this again, and then we'll swap over to playing something, and then we'll see what we think of it. Because maybe people would stick around if they were like, oh, we're only doing this for a little bit. Because we'll do book talks still. So like this month we're gonna do a book talk and we're gonna talk about our Christmas horror. And then I want to do book club starting in the new year if you guys are down for like picking up a book to read. I'll pick something real gay, I promise. If you're down for book club, I'd like to start in the new year, so we probably would do it in February. But maybe we'll do it in January if I pick a book real soon. But like we'll probably do it towards the end of January. I want to give you guys like at least a month to read because I know not everybody is me and averages a new book every 3 days. Um, should I just pick a book? I could just do that right now. Should we just do that before we sign off? Give me a second. Also, thoughts. Side stories are pretty cozy. Interpersonal conflict notwithstanding, so it might be consideration to rotate a few of them in Mondays this month if you would like. Oh, you want me to do the Doki Doki side stories real bad? Let me give me a minute to like get into the back into the things, into the thick of the things. I kind of want to do one that I've already read. Um and then I just have to try to reread it. So I gotta find something that's a little bit gay. Ooh. What do you guys think of someone you can build a nest in? I really like that one. It's very gay. It's by John Wiswell. Let me go pull it up. Easy. I didn't even review it, but I did read it. I read it in July. Yeah. Okay, I read it in June mostly. Was I doing Pride stuff? The cover is really cool. So it's historical fiction. It has a little bit of werewolf energy, but not quite. It's more of like a monster. And it's gay as hell. I really like this one though. I would love to read it again just to like refamiliarize myself with it. And then we will do book club, first official book club on January 19th, which is Martin Luther King Jr. Day for you Americans. Thoughts? Opinions? It gives you guys so much time to read it. We could do it a little bit earlier. It gives you like more than a month though. We could do it on the 12th or the 19th. I'd rather do it that instead of the 26th. Yeah, to be fair, Ro, it might be better to do the side stories on a cozy day instead of a spooky day. Because Saturdays is for spookies. And I realize that spookies happen in when we read, but that's just because that's what I read. Yeah, it's not a long one. It's only about 300 pages, 9 hours on the audiobook. The audiobook was also quite good if I remember correctly. I did enjoy it. I like this one a lot. This one's like a 5 star for me. So take a look. Okay. If you need assistance in finding a p a, a way of getting this book, let me know. We'll find it. We'll figure it out. But yeah, we'll do this then. So I'm gonna go with January 19th. Yeah, solid local library. I have a solid local library that I am no longer local to, but that they don't know won't hurt them. Yeah, I told you about this one because it was so good. I was so surprised because I used to a long time ago. I said the words, I don't really like historical fiction. What was I talking about? Who was that person? They were a liar. That's who that person was. I fucking love historical fiction, especially if it's historical horror. Oh my goodness, it's so much fun. And this one was super fun, and I really liked it. And we should read it together, and we should talk about it, and it'll be gay. It'll be a gay old time, you guys. Yeah, I do think I read this as a part of like, oh, I read a whole bunch of gay shit in June, and then I just didn't stop. It's a good one for you guys, I think. Okay, I'll post information on this on the Discord. If anybody is lurking, I don't think we have anybody. But if you want to join us on the Discord, we have just community news. You'll get alerts when I start streaming. Sometimes we talk. You'll get alert. I will mention if I cancel a stream, and oh shit, the price on Audible is 241 USD right now. 86% off. Nice. Consider that if you are an audiobook listener. Can we just, can I not auto mod gay shit? Yeah, I was just thinking, you said that like you don't approach every month with I'm gonna read a bunch of gay shit. Yeah, I don't know. Algorithmically, when I get recommended books, I think that because I like really sought out a lot of gay stuff in June, they were like, "You really like gay stuff," and I was like, "Yeah, I do, I do." And they're like, "Okay, well, we're just gonna serve that up for you." Yeah, yeah. Don't use your credit if it's only like $2 and you have $2 on you. I might be able to give people some. I wonder what the actual price. I don't want to look on Amazon. I don't want you guys. I'll accidentally dox either myself or my sibling. So we're not gonna do that. Never mind. But yeah, are we done? Yeah, we're done. What's going on now? Yeah, automod is like if you put gay, usually it's okay. If you put gay and then like a swear word next to it, they're like, that might not be okay. That might not be okay. We're not sure. I wanted to see. I should spell things correctly. That would be good. I want to see who's around. Ah, glitch is on. We could just, we just read glitch. I think we'll just rate glitch because I actually have to get some shit done today. So that would be nice. Are we co-working? It looks like we're co-working. That would be fun. Let's go raid glitch then. Yeah, you got a batch of stuff from your boss. One day in someone's stream, I'm gonna unleash a barrage of gay comments to clear out their auto mod entirely. Did I not? Um, I think I put the. Yeah, I typoed your name, and that would have been weird. Great. Oh. Alright, guys. This is our book for the 19th. Woo! I didn't make a schedule this month or this week because I didn't know how I was going to feel. I still am not feeling super great, but I'm trying my best. But on Wednesday, I should be playing with the gang. On Thursday, we should if we're all good to go, have a music stream, we'll probably do TV and movies. So I do need you guys, if you have a TV or movie song you want me to listen to, please, please, please post it. That's kind of what I gotta do is try to find songs for that one. Um, Anything works, so like it doesn't have to be a musical. It can be a song that was popularized by it. So like one of the ones that I'll sing is probably Massive Attack's Teardrop because it was the theme song to House for a while, and I feel like it popularized it. So like that counts. Also, but like if it is a musical, that also counts. So like Has Been Hotel. This is for Thursday, so get it together. Give me some things. I would have told you yesterday, but I wasn't entirely sure how I would feel. But yeah. Anyway, have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.